what are we told about Donald Trump? Well, we shouldn't be surprised, right? Because he's the worst president and he's a fascist and he's a dictator and on and on and on. But he's not the president now. Joe Biden is the president now.
And that's what you support?
Really?
You support genocide?
No, I support half of my family who live in Israel. There is no state of Palestine because it's never been recognized because it used to be part of Egypt or Jordan who've washed their hands of them. They don't even want them. They're building up a big fucking wall. They're saying, no, you know who wants them to die? The Egyptians do. And the Jordanians and the Qataris.
I was watching a World War II movie the other day.
They don't want them.
I was watching a World War II movie, and it was interesting because Palestine came into the picture, and they were talking about Palestine. They were talking about Palestine as our ally.
75 years ago, Christians, Jews, and Muslims and Arabs lived peacefully until the Zionists came. Read your history and talk to Norman Finkelstein.
And when the Zionists came, what did the Arabs do? Because we, the British, we had to hang them in the fucking street because they kept killing our soldiers. Yes, I'm loyal to the United States of America. Not one U.S. flag here. You're all traitors to America. All of you are traitors to America. Not one of you has the Stars and Stripes flag. Where is the Star-Spangled Banner here? None of you have it. You don't love this country that lets you protest in the middle of the street.
This is called the First Amendment. This is called the First Amendment.
Well,
the freedom of speech.
You exercise your First Amendment right. Hold the Stars and Stripes above your head and be proud.
We find these truths self-evident. All men are created equal.
So hold the flag. You love your flag. Hold the flag. Where's the flag?
The United States of America is inalienable right. The Declaration.
I know. I swore an oath of allegiance to America when I came here.
You can do a dance and say, look, the Declaration of Independence is the United States.
Why are you choosing to demonstrate here, by the way?
Understand that and get it. Go take another class. Go take another class and understand where you are. This is the United States of America. We find these truths self-evident. The Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
The Constitution is a protection of rights.
Right.
These are people simply exercising freedom of speech and a right to assemble.
Okay.
That's the First Amendment.
Close?
A friendly tap.
Yeah, watch out with those friendly taps. Hello.
It's dangerous for us to know that the freedom of the press, and especially when you see how quiet the press is, who didn't have a problem publishing a lot of these revelations, and now they are completely silent. This tells me that we're in very sad shape in this country when you can't have freedom of the press. We see this in other situations, obviously in Palestine, what's happening right now, in terms of how people get their news, how they make their decisions in voting, how they make all their decisions, how they grow their prejudices, how they find their heroes. When you're getting a limited, very slanted view of what's going on in the world, it's impossible to make good decisions. And Julian isn't even a citizen of the United States. You know, where's Australia in all of this? But people are so afraid of challenging the status quo because it does cost, and we've seen how much it is costing him and his family. So I thank everyone for being here and for getting out the word and continuing to try to keep this in the press and trying to keep people aware of what's going on right now in court. Free Julian. Thank you.
I think we have to think that it's already happened right now because Julian has been imprisoned, tortured, persecuted. Journalists around the world are already self-censoring, not doing their jobs, or so-called journalists. I mean, you have to have maybe a little respect for them being afraid because this can happen to them. So if we go further and turn him over to the hands of a government that plotted to kill him, that has spied on him secretly and his lawyers, the intimidation is just that much greater. This is about the right to speak truth to power. This is about the right to have the truth that we need to speak truth to power. Julian spoke about truth. He said if lies can start wars, then truth can start peace. We have to think about all of the things that the public is not supposed to know, is not supposed to get information about. And Julian was providing information. We should have a free press providing that information, but we've got a corporately owned media, and it's not providing that information.
But I just want to share some words with you. These are not words from Julian Assange. We've done that before, but I'm going to share some words with you from Navalny. This is from a video that he made where he is at a table and he's swatting insects, and it says, hello, today we talk about insect control. No house is safe from cockroach infestation. And it shows a disgusting bug. Ew, or a fly gets in through an open window. Another disgusting bug. We all know the cure against flies, a fly swatter, a slipper against a roach. But what to do if cockroaches are too big and flies too aggressive? And then you hear a gunshot, and he is holding a gun. And you see, in such case, I recommend a handgun, he says. And then you see men who are Muslim, and this is what he wanted to do to Muslims. And this is a hero, according to our government and our media. No one ever mentions this part of him. So I'm bringing this up because obviously our media and our government have an agenda, and that agenda is not a pro-free speech agenda. It's not a pro-freedom of press agenda, and it's not a pro-freedom at all agenda. And Biden said that Putin is responsible for Navalny's death. And if that's true, we're going to remember this if anything happens to Assange. Because if that's true, obviously, Biden is responsible for anything that happens to Assange. And he's already responsible for his being locked up. And he's already responsible for his having a stroke. And he's already responsible for what the United Nations Special Rapporteur on Torture, not a rando, but the United Nations Special Rapporteur on Torture has determined to be torture.
So I'm Diane Sayre. I'm a LaRouche independent candidate for U.S. Senate running against Kirsten Gillibrand in New York. I had the distinction of being the only person in 2022 to get 45,000 plus signatures to get on the ballot. I'm very well aware of the issue of freedom of speech and suppression of minority voices. And Assange is not a minority. He acted because he thought that people were good enough if they knew the truth of the crimes being committed, they would act to change the policy. And I think we've actually failed him because we have not stopped the criminal policies of our government.
Absolutely. And do you think we've kind of come full circle here where, the U.S. wants to punish Assange for exposing their war crimes in Iraq and Afghanistan, all while the U.S. is funding war crimes and genocide in Gaza?
Yeah, sure. And now what's different, which I'm very happy about, is the number of young people in the streets. I think this is very good. My concern, I'll tell you my biggest fear, the system of empire is collapsing. It's really done. It's on its last legs. That's why they're desperate. They want to, to kill Assange, to remove him. They want to terrorize everyone who speaks the truth into silence because they are weak. It's not going to work. So the question for us is, when the system breaks, can we organize a whole new system? Not just a little piece, not just we stop the genocide, but we actually create a system where every single nation has the right to economic development and sovereignty. The idea that there's a single starving child on the planet is an outrage.